Edgar Markov, the father of all vampires on Innistrad, carrier of a very prominent recessive gene of white hair, a vampire knight despite there not being any kings or queens on Innistrad. He is also Soren's grandfather and my great to the 30th times grandfather, and most shockingest of all, he is still alive. Think that is too outlandish? Think again. Congratulations. You've thought twice, and now let's think thrice. For here, in these secret files, is our access to the inside of the red velvet rope and past the crimson, even more velvety stage curtains to a play called Edgar Markov, on tonight's episode of this Tinfoil Hat Files. Let's examine what we know for certain about Edgar Markov. He was born in an unknown year to someone who presumably had the last name Markov. We will then breeze past the first 50 inconsequential years of his life, whereupon we finally learn some information about Sir Markov. In life, he was an alchemist, and most likely had not been knighted yet, as he did not, in the words of author D. Barnes, have a pot to piss in. And while he lacked the many pissing pots when compared to Sir Elton John or Sir Bill Gates, he had an alchemy pot, a flint, and several bottles of ether, both for recreational and medicinal purposes. He only turned to blood magic out of desperation to save his family and the people of Innistrad, which, due to a lack of both food and birth control, was suffering a plain-wide famine. And that was the truth, until it wasn't. New canonical updates revised Edgar's tale. Edgar wasn't an altruistic alchemist at all. He was merely a selfish bastard who didn't like the fact he was growing old. Edgar thought only of his own interests. In fact, he did not even give his sons proper names, but saw no issue involving them in his shady activities. He even used old no-names to catch an angel for a deal he brokered with the demon Shelgengar, whose name in ancient Sumerian translates to exists as a plot point, where he exsanguinated the angel's blood and became the first vampire of Innistrad. But the more we know of Edgar, the more curious his story was, such as, what became of Shelgengar? Which one of the no-names is Soren's father? Why did Soren get a name? And how did he suddenly go missing without any sort of reason, rhyme, or foresight? And did he only exist as a tie-in to his much more famous Planeswalker grandson? These are dangerous questions to ask, but they must be asked. And I ask any of you out there to ask yourselves, what the is going on here? How many glaring plot holes can a creation myth have? Can someone throw me a bone so I have something to pick with? At least we can know if he's alive, and finally, why is this unhinged vampire yelling at me? The truth, like the answers to those questions, is, who knows? Or is it that we're not supposed to know? Was there some secret being kept from us on purpose? As the old saying goes, secrets are like farts. You can't keep them locked up forever, and one way or another, they must come out. And here is the shocking hot winds of truth. Edgar Markov, presumed dead, is very much alive. Let's examine the evidence. The newest art revealed of Edgar Markov shows him with two strangers, but he is no stranger to artist Martina Faklova. You see, Edgar bears a striking resemblance to Martina's 2017 painting, Spellbinding Terror, which, coincidentally, was the year Edgar Markov became known to the world. Martina could not have painted Edgar if he was dead, as she is alive now. That means for the past 5 years, Faklova has been spellbounded. Could she even be a familiar to Edgar? She has admitted, on record, that, quote, vampires are definitely my thing, end quote. And look what happens when you remove the Tinafacka from Martina Faklova. And there you have it, folks. Is there anything more that can be said? Of course there's not. Now, I understand some of you might be in disbelief. Some of you might even say, you haven't said anything of actual substance. This video is ridiculous. It's not clever or funny, and you've wasted 5 minutes of my life that I'll never get back at grasping straws. Allow me to respond with, ouch. Secondly, my evidence is evident, and if you grasp at enough straws, you may just find yourself holding a bushel of truth. Oh yeah, one more thing. Here is Santa Fung's art for the upcoming Boom Comics. So there's that. Perhaps I should have led with that one. Why didn't I? I'm sure I have my reasons. But there are some things that cannot be known. But what we do know is that the truth is out there, feelings are facts, and the main takeaway is that I was correct about Edgar Markov. And I was. Because my sources are found in the pages of these files. I am Agent Scully, and you have just visited the Twilight Zone. I am Edgar Markov, and this has been the Tinfoil Hat Files.